Love it. I love the
Not a
floor to
bad spot.
ceiling.
It's got the lake out there and all that, so good setup.
You're
Beautiful.
bad.
I love it. How you been? How's the season going so far in the first week?
Been all good. Season's been good for us. I think we've gotten off to a pretty good start. Got a lot of really talented young players that have kind of meshed really well with some of the more veteran guys that we've had around on the team. So it's only 6 games. 6 games, but we got a long way to go. But some encouraging signs, and it's been a really fun team to be a part of.
Where do you have your camera? On the lower floor? I mean, we're looking straight up your nose, but Yeli, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, but he still looks
I know,
swaggy.
man.
He's
I
good.
got like a little table here. There's not really too good of a spot.
We're
trying
not
to do
set
our
up.
best.
You're not set up in the studio, but no, your spot. If you're in the building, I think you're in. Your spot's pretty show. I know how you do it. I appreciate you waking up this early for us on an off day, right?
Yeah, we got an off day, which is nice. I get up early now, man. I'm kind of an early riser. It's changed up a little bit.
What? Are you getting into some yoga, some breakfast? Like you used to never wake up because Chipotle didn't have breakfast food. That's why you never woke up.
The Chipotle thing is like, it might be one of the more overplayed things like about me. Like yeah, I go there all the time. I think every baseball player has had Chipotle a few times in their life, but I think me and JT were talking about it where there's like this thing floating around where we went like 140 days in a row or something like that, which I don't know where that came from or how that got started, but we won a lot in the minor leagues, but I don't think any sane person would go 142 days in a row or whatever that was. That's
So what do
out
you?
there. Like the Brewers like to throw that on the scoreboard for whatever reason. So whoever runs our scoreboard, fact correction, you're wrong. But
Yeah.
What do you get up and do now? Like what is this new change? I saw you put videos out of yourself working out in the parking lot. Like that's nice.
yeah, I just gotta just get up and enjoy the mornings, man. I think you get so caught up in just baseball, 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 baseball all the time, and I don't think that's healthy. It doesn't benefit anybody. Obviously it's a big part of your life. It's something that you need to take seriously, but you need a good balance. So for me, I just enjoy the mornings, kind of take my time, and then once you go to the stadium, you go to the stadium and you lock it in. But yeah, it's been good, man. The last few years, kind of gotten into that routine and trying to stick with it.
Yeli, what's the deal with you guys opening up so hot? You guys just spanked the Mets for 3 games. I mean, talk to me about ownership of the Mets with all their payroll, your young guys going deep, Mitchell, Weimer, these guys. I mean, talk to me about this team and what y'all just did to the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Mets are a super talented team, and anything can happen in a 3-game series. We obviously played really well. You guys played a really long time. When you get an influx of young players, they bring a ton of energy. They play extremely hard, and it raises the level of the guys that have been around. And with the young players, there's gonna be hot stretches, there's gonna be cold stretches, there's gonna be ups and downs. But the ones that we have are really talented. They're really good kids, play the game the right way, and are obviously extremely talented. So there's gonna be periods where we catch fire like that. And I think the biggest thing that they've added to us is like we're multi-dimensional now. We don't have to rely on the home run. We can do it still, but there's a speed aspect to our team, and especially with the new rules, we can score in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of pressure on the other team, and it's been fun to be a part of so far.
Are you going to steal bases? You going to start stealing some bases?
We're gonna try.
Again? Like the old Marlins days? We're going to go back to the old Christian Yelich, no power, let's steal bases, slap some singles to left, or what?
We might have to start doing that. Yeah, I ran a little bit more last year. I don't know if I did a lot in 21 or not, but 18 and 19, I ran a lot too. Some of the times in the Marlins days, I had the hard red light because I was hitting in front of old John Carlo down there, and Donnie was like, "You stay your ass at first base and wait till it hits one through the windows back there." So I had times with the Marlins when I could run freely, and then there was other times depending on where I was hitting where it was like, "Hey, if you think about running, don't," and just kind of wait for him to hit a ball 700 feet, and you can kind of just jog around the bases. But I think with the new rules, like it is a really big advantage to have guys that can run or to be able to run because it's such a huge difference with the two pickoffs or 2 times stepping off the rubber. Like it puts the pitchers in a bind, and especially with the clock too. Like they have a lot going on. They have to hold a guy. They have to get a sign. They have to think about executing a pitch. So it's been an adjustment period for everybody. I obviously think the rule changes are a positive, but there's definitely a learning curve there.
Do you think 4.5 inches is a lot?
It depends. It depends.
It helps if you're stealing bases.
Tell them what you're talking about. You can't just throw that out there like every player knows.
That's what we discussed. Oh, I know Yeli watches all of foul territory. He hasn't missed an episode yet.
Todd Frazier said that 4.5 inches is, as he would say, huge. It's huge. 4.5 inches.
The bigger bases.
Yeah, but he's talking about the bases, but he keeps saying it over and over again. So if you ever see us go like this, we're talking about Todd Frazier and his 4.5 inches.
Okay. It's good to know. I got caught up. My first foul territory experience.
Now you don't need to watch quite as many anymore. I want to talk about the young guys. When we played together with Milwaukee, we had the tradition, somebody gets their first hit or first win, you take them into the shower, beer shower, shampoo, milk, orange juice, whatever, was available. Are you guys still doing that? And if you are, with all the young guys, are you just constantly going to the shower and just beer showering everybody after every game? Because there's always a rookie doing something for a first time.
The beer shower is still around, but Wade Miley bought like this huge box of Ace of Spades champagne. So we've been passing those out to the guys after the game. Wade actually got a bottle himself the other day we got him a bottle of whiskey for his 100th win in the big leagues. Something we kind of do post game, just we've had a lot of post game speeches congratulating guys on first or longevity milestones like the 100th win. And it's fun to be a part of it. It just creates that team chemistry, that bonding that you're going to need throughout the year. And there's obviously been a lot of firsts for these guys. Their first hit, first homers. We've had guys with first strikeouts, first win in the league. So a lot of firsts. It's fun to be a part of. And the beer shower is still around in Milwaukee every now and then.
Also, the cheeseheads are a big deal now. I just give credit to the sport in general for the home run celebrations that have become, I guess, more amplified across the sport. And of course, that's a great shot of Rowdy to kick it off with Pratzi saying actually the other day. Yeah, everyone else, it looks good. I don't know if that thing's going to fit around Rowdy's big ass head, but where did that come about? How's that going?
I don't know how. I think Willie might have had the cheesehead somehow. I don't know how it exactly got started. I think it was floating around in spring training somewhere, and then I didn't know about it until the other day when somebody hit our first homer. We went a few games without hitting a homer, and then somebody hit their first one, and out came the cheesehead. But I kind of like it, especially on Big Randy. It's a good look for him.
Christian, you got to get the cheesehead, dude. Let's go. No more stealing bases. I need you to go.
I know, dude.
I need you to get the squat and then the uncoil, and let's go. Hit one up there off the Toyota truck in right center.
I know. I've kind of lost the feel for that thing. We need to get it back a little bit. It was flowing pretty good there for a while, and then kind of just, how baseball goes, man. You kind of just lose feel for things, and it's a constant battle to kind of try and get it back. And
how do you think you can get it back? What, is there a drill you do? Is there something you do to get it back? Is there something you talk to or a feel you need? What is it?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Well, because you went from, again, I was joking with you about kind of being you'd slap at the left when you were with the Marlins and you go to the Brewers and the power goes through the roof, right? And now it's kind of, you're saying you've lost that feel again. So is it just a feel thing? There was always a drill where I would say, okay, we go flip on the field and I'd find the backspin. I'd see balls going out of the park. And then mentally you're like, okay, I got it again. So I don't know if there's a drill you do. I don't know if there's a feeling you're looking for in the cage. Go to the hitting coach and say, hey, slap me upside the head, whatever it takes to get mad. I mean, there's got to be something that you do to get that feeling back.
Yeah, I mean, obviously made some adjustments when I came over to Milwaukee. Kind of just evolved throughout that year, learned myself as a player a little bit more, learned what I wanted to do and what I was doing. I was successful, and it was kind of just it was kind of this natural progression and flowing, and my body was working correctly, like sequencing how I wanted it to. And then now it's kind of gotten a little inconsistent and a little squirrely to where it'll be there for a game or two and then it kind of goes away, and it's just this you know how it is, this frustrating just back and forth of just trying to get something to stick. And I haven't been moving the way that I've wanted to in the last few years. Just some bad habits, some bad sequencing patterns that I haven't really been able to shake, and it's obviously been very frustrating. It's been one of those things where you're just like, why won't your body do this? But you just keep battling, keep working, keep trying to do new things in the cage, tinker with it, and that's the thing about baseball. It's just a constant battle every day, and you got to do everything you can to put yourself in a position to succeed. And if it doesn't work that night, kind of back to the drawing board and keep figuring out. But that's kind of what I've been battling with the last few years. Just gotten some bad habits and just really wasn't able to shake them and be as consistent as I would have liked. It shows up every now and then, but not as consistently as it was. Which I still believe it's still in there, and you just got to go find it.
Go to Chipotle. Go to Chipotle every day. Start going to Chipotle every day. Hey, try anything as a baseball player. We'll try anything. If you go to a place and you hit a homer, you're going back the next day. Let's go.
Definitely. You know how it is.
Yeah. I don't want to talk too much baseball because it's your off day, but I always told people, because when I came over to Milwaukee, that's when you took off and you really did well, and you were sad when I left. So that's probably what it was. And so, I'll make a trip out to the MKE. We'll hang out and all that stuff. I tell the story, and maybe I don't remember this correctly. Do you remember the home run Big Woo hit in Pittsburgh into the bleachers in right field? Do you remember that back in 2018? Vaguely, not?
Yeah, I remember him doing that.
Okay. I remember you going in and watching his home run and going, he kind of does some nice stuff. And you stood up and you were watching, you were like looking at it and you were looking at it, and then you went off. You hit like 900 for the rest of the season. So I always told people the biggest change was you watch Big Woo hit a home run and you're like, well, Big Woo hits a homer, I'm going to do what Big Woo does. So really, Big Woo fixed you.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean,
that's true. No.
Especially for a pitcher. He's got a pretty good swing.
Right.
And then everybody kind of started figuring out that he could hit, and then that was the end of that for him. And he started getting pitched like a regular hitter. But he got people for a little while when they were just kind of coming after him. But, being around him, he loves hitting. Like, he still always has a bat in his hand. He wants to talk about it. One of my favorite teammates I've ever played with. He's an absolute gangster on the mound. And he hit some pretty special homers. I mean, he really did. He hit quite a few of them. And, I always kind of like doing that, though. Like, not just from him, but other players. Like, you can kind of, like, look at them, see what they did, and be like, I kind of like that. And then take it into the cage and be able to do that, and just you kind of take things from everybody that you see as a player, and you're always kind of tinkering and trying to change things. You never know when something's going to click. Guys are what they are until they make an adjustment or something, the light bulb goes on, and then it can change their entire career. For either a hitter or a pitcher plays with a new pitch, and it can completely change them. So I think that's one of the cool things about baseball is, like, you never know what you can be or what's going to happen. You just got to keep trying to make adjustments and find a way to be as successful as you can.
Yeli, I'm going to go back to back here. One baseball and then one fun non-baseball that I know you'll like. So first, baseball-wise, did you watch World Baseball Classic? And now if you come across a Mookie or a Trout or any of the other superstars that you're friends with, are you like, yeah, we won in 2017, man, How'd you guys do?
I mean, no, because I think they played really well. And the thing that's really hard about that tournament is, it's a playoff atmosphere with like 1-game elimination games for a while. I think you have to play like four of them, where it's win or go home, right? So in baseball, anything can happen. You're obviously playing against really talented teams. So a lot has to go right for you to win that. You have to have a talented team, and then you just have to be on the side of where you get the bounces or things kind of go your way in order to win that tournament. But it was a ton of fun. I mean, I really, really enjoyed playing the WBC. Those games they're pressure packed. The atmosphere is incredible. Obviously, we ended up winning back in 2017, which is an amazing experience. It was really my first kind of taste of what a playoff atmosphere would kind of be like, because I hadn't gotten to experience that yet at that time. And, I think it opens your eyes. You go into the tournament being like, you understand like what you think you're getting into. And then once it starts, you're like, you have no idea what you just got into. You're like, wow, this is like really intense. The passion and the pride takes over. You don't want to lose. And you get to play with guys for an extended period of time. You go to an all-star game and you get to interact with these guys for 2 days really, but it's so busy and there's so much stuff going on that you don't really get to know them. And in that setting, it's like you're on the team with basically a bunch of all-stars for 2 weeks, and you're going to dinners. There's plane rides. You get to compete without the, I don't want to say distractions of an all-star game, because it's not the right word, but there's just so much going on, right? Like there's the game, there's the home run derby, there's all the stuff you got to do before, there's speeches, there's media, you got to sign balls and stuff like that. And in that you get to play and talk to these, some of the best players in the game for 2 weeks. I thought that was one of the coolest things about the WBC and something that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, we should clip that to show for some players. Like, this is different from going to an all-star game, the way that you get to hang out with everyone. I'm with you there. All right, let me do the non-baseball for you, because I haven't seen this get a ton of coverage since I read about it initially. I just want to make sure this is still a thing. Guitar. Are you playing? Because you picked it up, right? During COVID at one point, during the pandemic? Did you do a little guitar action?
Kinda. I mean, it was hit or miss. There's been a lot of miss on that lately. It just kind of fell by the wayside. But when I got COVID in 2021, I was like locked in. I was locked in here for literally 10 days. Like I couldn't. They wouldn't let you leave, obviously, and so I didn't leave like my front door for 10 days. I was like, what am I gonna do for 10 days? Like I watched a bunch of shows, and then I was like, screw it. I just went on Amazon Prime and ordered a guitar, and actually I got okay. Like I kind of got the basics down in 10 days. I literally had 10 days with nothing to do but that. Like my fingers were killing me and everything. By the time I came back to play, like my hands were hurting and stuff. So I need to knock this off. But it was fun. It's something that I would really like to do at some point. I think it's like kind of a good outlet from baseball, or something that when like you come home after games or whatever, it's a good way to like decompress and kind of get your mind off the game.
We so in 18, Yeli and I were talking about during the playoffs, and the other guys were talking about, like, because we watched the Capitals. I think, did the Capitals win the Stanley Cup, or who won the Stanley Cup?
I'm not sure in 18.
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, well, they were going around and they were binging everywhere. We were talking about going out and having a crazy party when we won the World Series in 18. We didn't. We fell short. But during that time, we talked about, your MVP party that you were going to have, because you were clearly going to win the MVP party that I didn't get an invite to. So whose party was better, yours or Big G's?
I don't know. I mean, I went on a pretty good bender after that. I'm not going to lie. It was like 3 or 4 days of just, we went out like every night with me and my buddies from back home, and it was at Bronny's birthday too, so one of the nights it was that. Baker had his bye week, and he was out in LA for that, so we went out for that too. And I remember like the last night of that, I was like, I need to chill. Like I can't do this another night. I'm not gonna make it. So, it's one of those things where it's a once in a lifetime type deal most of the time. I mean, it almost was a twice in a lifetime type deal the following year, but it's something that I think you need to enjoy. When you have success in this game, it's so hard on you. Like I think when you have good moments and you have good things, you need to enjoy them. You can't rest on them, obviously, but in the moment, you need to enjoy it a lot when you're playing baseball. Like just enjoy the success that you have in a game that doesn't bring you a lot of success, and celebrate the good times. And I had a lot of people around me that had helped me out throughout my entire life, and it was something that we all kind of celebrated together. And It was a good one. You know, I went to G's the year before. I think he had Snoop Dogg at his, which he must have been busy because he didn't attend mine. But he he had Snoop out there with his parents, everybody in the club in a club in Hollywood. It was a pretty good time, man. I enjoyed it, and we had a lot of fun.
That is awesome.
Yep.
By the way, you're talking about the 2018 Capitals, and that's when Ovechkin was in I think it's the fountain there, Georgetown waterfront or whatever. Remember that? And he's like shirt off, swimming, whatever. So Kratzy, like if the Brewers win the World Series at some point, maybe Yeli can do an Ovechkin impression. Or for baseball, I think it was Napoli. Remember Napoli was like just rolling around the streets when Boston won? Something like that, partying with the people.
Yeah. You have to.
Yeli, I love what you said, though, about enjoying it. Because I know I look back on my career and I say, man, there's some times I wish I would have enjoyed it more. And you look around and you say, that happened so fast that you don't even realize what's going on until you almost have to watch the playback of it and say, man, that really happened in the game. Are those moments still happening? Or as you get, because when I got older, I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to enjoy this more. I'm going to go out more in the cities, see the cities more. Do you do that now that you've gotten older? Or you're up early now. You used to sleep all day, like Pratt said. So obviously you're enjoying it. Do you go out on the road and say, hey, I'm going to go, say you're in LA. I know you're from around there, but do you say, or let's go like Kansas City, I'm going to go walk around the fountains and see the plaza? Or has anything changed for you?
Yeah, you make more of a conscious effort to do that, I think. It's like you said, man, when you're in the middle of it, it's something that you kind of you keep the blinders on, because I think as baseball players, like, you understand how hard the game is and how quick it can change on you. So you never want to, like, when you're going well, you never want to like let the success kind of get to your head and think like, oh, everything's all good. Like, you're constantly on edge of like, today could be the start of disaster. So I need to lock it in and make sure that I don't have any bad habits or nothing's going bad. Like, I need to be super focused here. And it's a good thing and a bad thing, because like you said, you don't really enjoy those moments until they're over. And then you're like, oh shit, I wish I would have enjoyed this a little bit more, or kind of taking a step back and look around. And I've found myself doing that over the last few years, and being considered one of the older guys it's kind of weird, because I don't feel that way. Like, I don't feel like I'm one of the older guys, but I really am. Especially with the young guys that we've had come up, and you kind of get to see yourself in them a little bit of when like the big leagues was new and when it was fresh. And like, I played you when I was a really young player, when you were with the Braves, we played each other all the time. And just watching guys get their feet wet in the league and just have all those firsts and those new experiences, and like every day is opening day for you because it's all new. Every stadium's new, every hotel, and it's fun to watch, and it energizes you. And I think that for the rest of the time that I have playing, it's a conscious effort to kind of step back and be like, wow, this is cool. Like, this is Major League Baseball, and it's something that you don't get to do forever. It's something that you've worked your entire life to get to that point, and you continue to work hard every day, but eventually, like you said, it's going to come to an end. So you want to enjoy the experience and the moments as much as you can. And, it kind of brings you a little bit more like joy and purpose, and you're not so focused on yourself all the time, and you can kind of help these young guys through the league for their first time, through the ups and the downs and what to expect and what's going to happen. And what happens when you struggle, what happens when you succeed, how to deal with, friends and family and the asks and everything that come along with being a major league player. And it's kind of fun to evolve into kind of that part of your career, but at the same time feels extremely weird because I still kind of feel like I'm like them, but I'm not. Does that make sense?
Well, just wait until you get to you're like 39 like I was, and we were with the Braves and we were terrible, and our whole team was 22 years old. Then you really want to feel like an old person. That's when you feel like, Freddie Freeman was like our next oldest guy, and he was like 26. And he's talking about, trying to find, he wasn't even married yet to Chelsea. And we're like, wait a minute, what is happening here? I'm 39, my kid's 10 running around the clubhouse, and they're making fun of me how old I am. So it gets better. It gets worse, but better. Where's your MVP trophy?
It's at Where is it at? It's at my mom's house in California right now. I'm building a house, so whenever that's finished, it'll end up going there. But right now, all that stuff's there, just because I didn't really have any other place to put it. So it's kind of just
I
hanging
feel
out
like
in
it
the
should
living
be like
room.
a boombox. You should have it. Like if you want one of those things,
Yeah,
you have it
it's
like on
literally
your
on
arm.
a
You
it's
walk.
on a stand. It's on a stand on like a table. Like you can kind of like where you would put like a plate. You know, it has like the two things and the one on the back, where you can kind of like lean it up against it. That's where the trophy is. I think you're supposed to hang them on a wall.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: if the young guys get snappy, they get snappy with you. You just walk up and you just hold this thing up and you say, "Hey guys, look, I got one of these, and one of y'all get one of these. You guys are allowed to talk to me. Otherwise, watch how we do it in the big leagues."
Yeah, it's like I know you guys were all in high school when this happened, but
Oh, exactly.
Amazing. Hey, Yali, we really appreciate you joining us. Hope you enjoyed the chill conversations here that we're doing every day live on this show with all the players. So thanks for hopping on during the off day. It looks like it's a freaking gorgeous day out there. So enjoy some sunshine today, man.
But yeah, finally got some sunshine. It was good catching up with you guys, and I know it's been a minute for all of us, but I appreciate you guys having me on. It was good chatting, and I'm sure we'll do it again soon at some point.